Gman. Match for the week. Canadian Hunter. Woo! The build-up is intense. Woo! Canadian Hunter warms you up on a Sunday morning. Gentlemen, welcome to Week 11, Match for the Week for the Dirty Dozen Fantasy Football League. I apologize for my voice. Come down with some upper respiratory nonsense. That's what happens when you stay home every day with two boys who basically use you as a human tissue. So we're going to power through. We're going to make it happen. I'm already on meds. I'm already drinking Canadian whiskey at 10 a.m. One kid's sleeping upstairs. The other one's watching Team Umizoomi. Canadian Hunter. I'm outside in the sunroom right now because I'm trying to stay away from the kids, keep it quiet, and honestly, this is where I belong. Basically scraping the basement. I should be outside, and because I'm outside, clearly got to wear the orange. I could be, can't be getting shot. Illegal hunting on a Sunday in Maine. It happens. Don't think it doesn't. I always hear guys with their ARs popping them off up the hill. So let's get into it, gentlemen. Week 11. So much to talk about, but we're gonna blaze through. Congrats to Max last week. High score. It's kind of a low week for everybody, but Max still put up a nice score. He's up to $70 on the year. Well done. Gman leads the league in points scored for by like 20 or 30. It's not crazy, but he's in the lead. He's also got the yearly high score still, so congrats to G-Man on that. See if he can pull that through. He has had, also interestingly, the fourth hardest schedule, actually. So, G-Man's team is legit. He's doing work. Max, by comparison, has had the easiest schedule, the least amount of points scored against him, but it almost doesn't matter because he's scored the third most points in the league. So even if his schedule was harder, he'd probably still be as good, maybe one more loss or something like that. So let me see here. There's a little more Canadian. Goes down. Not as smooth as some of my other whiskeys, but what are you going to do? I'm running low on alcohol in this house right now. So, moving forward, Max, favorable schedule. He's got me this week. He's already run up 35 on me or so. Probably looking to get the W for me this week. I can admit it. I'm man enough to admit it. He's probably going to crush me this week. Oh, my team is leaves a lot to be desired. So he's got me this week. He's got Halim next week. And then he just finishes off his season with Eamon, who's essentially 500 right now, not that much better than me. Max is looking to be like 9-4 probably on the season. First seed. Well done, Max. Punch your ticket. Definitely first or second seed in the playoffs. And then looking forward, a few other matchups. Me and JP face each other week 13. If we each squeak out one or two more wins, that could be a battle for the 8th spot on the bubble. And then, of course, I've got, Tedwick, as he's now known on the thread. I've got him next week. G-Man could beat Ted this week. I could beat Ted next week. Ooh, wouldn't that piss him off? He could be riding a 2-game losing streak going into week 13 where he's got Halim. Could Halim do it? Could he do the unthinkable? Could he beat Tedwick and keep him out of the playoffs after running his mouth? Who knows? We'll see. Canadian Hunter. You know it's going to be good because there's a guy with a gun and 2 dogs on the front. So that's how you know. Yes, so we need more separation. I can't make good playoff predictions yet. I need more separation in the standings. There's still too much jumbled. Even at the top with 3 games left, even Max could lose the next 3 and be 7-6 and be like a 6 seed all of a sudden. It could happen. So everyone, there's a couple of 4 and 5s. some 5-4s. Too many games left. After this week, we should know a little bit more. So, let's get into matchup of the week. Everybody knows what it is. Everybody knows it's Gman and Ted. So much shit talking on the message boards. I love it. I hate Ted. I hate that he actually has a respectable team for not showing up to the draft. But I gotta respect it. He's made moves. Carson Wentz, obviously, August 29th should be a day that Ted cherishes forever. The day he picked up Carson Wentz, who has essentially carried his fantasy team to this point. And he's obviously made other good moves along the way, picking up these waiver wire players. Question I have for the league is, why aren't other people picking these people up? Why are you letting Tedwick get these players? It's in the past. We're moving forward. So, matchup of the week. G-Man versus Ted. Let's get into it right now. So, G-Man is rolling out Matt Stafford. Ted's got Carson Wentz. This seems pretty clear-cut to me that Wentz has got the better matchup and likelihood to score here. Stafford 3-4 lifetime on the road versus the Bears, with 9 TDs and 11 interceptions. He's had 3 games with no touchdown passes versus the Bears. So this is not a done deal. It's a division game. It's a tough game. Chicago D has actually been legit, even though their quarterback is rookie and up and coming. This is not a slam dunk for Stafford by any means. Meanwhile, Carson Wentz, he's just lighting it up in Philadelphia. They're loving him right now. Averaging 26.7 points versus other NFC East opponents. I expect that to continue. I think he's going to have a nice game. 24 for Wentz, 17 for Stafford. Let's move on to the running backs. G-Man has got McCoy and AP. McCoy, going against the Chargers, who have the 30th worst run defense in the league, giving up an average of 28 points. But McCoy is only averaging 10 points on the road. This game is on the road, East Coast, West Coast. I don't think it's a slam dunk game. Sorry, struggling. I need more whiskey. So I don't think it's a slam dunk game for McCoy. New quarterback. Like we were saying, stack the box and make the quarterback beat you. I think McCoy struggles a little bit. AP, average game. I'm not expecting too much out of AP today. Oh, and McCoy is averaging 21 points at home versus 10 on the road. So he's struggling a little bit on the road. Ted's rolling out Chris Thompson and Alvin Kamara. Interestingly enough, both players were drafted 13th and 14th rounds or so for Ted. So his starting running backs this week were actually drafted. So you're welcome, Ted, because I drafted your team essentially. So I would like some cut if you actually make some money, some god-awful way this season. So Chris Thompson, expect a mediocre game out of him. He needs more catches, I think, to really get the points up there. Kamara, part of the best RB duo in the league with Ingram and himself. Even though there's 2 guys seeing a lot of workload, they're both tearing it up as far as points go. He's averaging 4 to 5 receptions a game. He's had 4 rushing TDs, 2 receiving TDs. So I think this is a tougher game, maybe game flow dependent for him, but he's still going to have a nice output. We'll give McCoy 13, AP 12, Chris Thompson 10, and Kamara 14. Down to receivers, G-Man is rolling out Hopkins and Marvin Jones Jr. Hopkins is a stud. He's got a tough matchup versus Patrick Peterson of the Cardinals, but somehow, even with Tom Savage, he's racking it up. So Hopkins has a nice game, 18 points. Marvin Jones Jr. had a couple of big games. Waiver wire pickup, everybody was all over him. Other leagues that I'm in as well. I picked him up in some other leagues. Really fell down back to earth last week. I'm thinking a little more boom or bust, but he's paired with Stafford. G-Man, he's looking for that home run threat. A nice 40, 50-yard bomb to him could really make or break his day. So where he's boom or bust, I'm just going to float him 10 points. I don't think he has a huge game. Ted's rolling out Mohamed Sanu and Cooper Kupp. Certainly Ted struggles a little bit on the receivers here. Sanu, fortunate that Richard Sherman is out, so I think Sanu has a decent game. Cooper Kupp, he's more like a flex play than a wide receiver 2 at this point. He's got a tough matchup versus Minnesota D. I'll give Sanu 12 and Kupp 9, so I think G-Man gets the edge there. Tight ends, Julius Thomas for G-Man. Don't expect much. He's had 1 game in double-digit fantasy points all year. He does not get another one this week. I think he gets 7 points. Versus Ingram for Ted. He's been a nice waiver wire addition. Eli's got to throw it to somebody. He's going to throw it to this kid who's on a 4-game touchdown stretch right now. Um, and I just found out, because I had to change my lineup, Sterling Shepard's out with an illness. Better be near close to death at this point. But so he's out with an illness, probably the flu, something going around, similar to what I'm working with here. And so Ingram, he's like the only guy that can catch the ball on the Giants. So initially I had downgraded him, but I got to give him a couple extra points. As of this morning, I think he's going to do well. I was going to give him 10. Now I'm going to give him 12 to 13 points. Flex plays, G-Man rolling out Kareem Hunt. What can you say? Great matchup. I think he gets back on track. Double-digit fantasy points for sure. 19 this week for him. James White for Ted. Interesting play. He picked up the Green Bay bell cow, essentially. He's not in the lineup. I don't know, Ted. You may want to consider that. I mean, game flow, Mexico City, James White. Maybe he partied a little bit too much last night. I don't know. You may want to go with the Green Bay guy. So with James White in there, I'm only going to give you 8 points in that flex spot. G-Man's rolling out Lions D. G-Man is heavily Lions dependent this week. Stafford, Jones, Lions D. And trust Detroit, I guess. I think they have a reasonable game. Trubisky, he's not incredible, but he's, Lions had an aberration last week with 11 points. I give him 10 this week. Obviously, Ted had a great week with the Steelers, 18 points versus the Titans. And then kickers. Lutz has alternated single versus double-digit fantasy points since week 1, actually. It's been very consistent, and he's due for a single-digit output this week. So I'm going to do it. Give him 9. Josh Elliott, obviously, Philly's going to rack up some points on Dallas. I'm going to give him 12 points. So there you have it. There's the point totals. There's the breakdown. Before, I had bumped up Ingram on the points. It doesn't change the outcome. It just makes the spread a little bit more. I had it initially G-Man 115, Ted 117. Now with Ingram and Shepard out, and Ingram's going to get more balls, now I'm putting it like G-Man 115, Ted 120, 121. I think that's where the numbers are. I think Ted's able to squeak it out versus G-Man. Let's see what happens, boys. Let's see what happens. So, more playoff predictions coming next week. I was going to ask Griff to call the game as well, but he's watching TV and he's just ignoring me, so we won't worry about that. I'll see you boys on the message boards. Have a good Sunday, rainy Sunday. Stay inside, watch some football, drink some beers. I'll catch up with you later. Kamish, we're going to go find some more Canadian Hunter and potentially take care of these children while Whitney works this weekend. All right, boys. Have a good one.